Hi guys, this is Mike, and if you know my channel, you might know that I'm a big fan of the HARLEY BENTON GS-TRAVEL-E Mahogany. I find the price-value proposition on this guitar amazing, it sounds great, it plays nice, it comes with a gig bag and tuner/preamp, and yeah, to be completely honest, it never crossed my mind to try out the other instruments in the GS-TRAVEL-E line until I got a recommendation for the GS-TRAVEL-E Spruce. And so today we're going to compare these two, we will check out what the differences are, we will listen to sound samples, and we will find out if I made a mistake buying and keeping the Mahogany one. All of that after this. Okay guys, so first let's actually talk about the differences on these guitars. And here the good news is that the majority of the specs are exactly the same, right? So they are the same price, they are the same size, the dimensions are the same to a T. They also both come with the same gig bag and the same preamp tuner combo installed. The only difference seems to be the wood used for the top. So mahogany on one side and spruce on the other, and the fact that the spruce one has a glossy finish while the mahogany one has a matte satin finish. That to me was actually quite surprising, and I don't really understand why they decided to put glossy lacquer on this guitar, right? I'm not a big fan of that, and I honestly see no upsides to a glossy finish. I mean, yes, it might protect the wood underneath from staining or scratches, but then again, you can clearly see all fingerprints on there and all, specks of dust. Thank God then that we don't have a glossy finish on the neck as well, right? The neck actually has a nice satin finish and feels identical to the neck of the GS-TRAVEL-E Mahogany. One last difference is the weight. My exemplars show a difference of exactly 20 grams, which is not much and can be explained by the different tone woods. Which brings me to another thing, feel and playability. So for some reason, and I know it is impossible for me to show you that, so you basically have to take my word for it, but for some reason the spruce one feels a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more expensive, and it just feels like the better instrument, right? I compared the TRAVEL-E Mahogany to a Taylor GS Mini E Mahogany a couple of months ago, and while I kept the HARLEY Benton, I did appreciate that the Taylor felt more robust, more streamlined, more sophisticated, and more like a real instrument, right? Well, the GS-TRAVEL-E Spruce feels very much like that Taylor. So that was very surprising, and it's actually not that subtle, right? It's definitely something that is pretty noticeable when you play both guitars back to back. Having said that, I'm happy to inform you that although both guitars feel differently, they play pretty much exactly the same, which is great. Okay, so now let's come to the most important thing, which is the sound. So I put new strings on both of these guitars and I recorded a couple of sound samples. And I suggest let's listen to them, and after that I'm going to tell you what I think about these guitars. How about that, right? So enjoy the samples, here we go. Okay guys, welcome back. I hope you like the samples. I tried to give you a little bit of everything here. Okay, but now let's actually talk about sound. And listen guys, this is one of those instances where I like the guitar more that I'm currently playing, right? So when I'm playing the Spruce one, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this one sounds better. And if I'm playing the Mahogany one, I'm thinking, yeah, that one sounds better, right? So that's really funny. Generally speaking, I would say that the Mahogany one has a really nice low end, not a lot of mids, but really nice, sweet sounding highs, right? The Spruce one almost sounds like a little bit of a, more compressed instrument. We don't have a dip, but actually healthy mids. And I would say the bass is a little bit more punchy, a little bit more direct, and the highs are not as sweet as on the Mahogany one, right? It's just a little bit more even, a little bit more compressed, if that makes any sense, right? But basically the question that I have been asking myself was, did I make a mistake buying and keeping the Mahogany one and not the Spruce one? And my answer to that is no. Actually, I do feel that the Mahogany one has a little bit more character than the Spruce one, and I especially love those sweet, sweet highs. But the Spruce one is by no means worse, right? It just has a slightly different voice, which you basically have to like and prefer. And it has this glossy finish, which you shouldn't mind, right? I do. And basically those are the two reasons I'm not going to keep this one and I'm going to stick with the Mahogany one. But that's just me. Guys, how about you? Which one did you like more? Let us know by leaving a comment below. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And also, if you want to know how the Mahogany one compares to the Fender Sonoran Mini, click on this link. Here, right? Have a good one. See you next time. Bye. With two eyes.